A year after the Hunga Tonga eruption, scientists are worried about this region right here, the Pacific Ring of Fire. But why? What's going on down there? It's me, and you're watching this channel. The Ring of Fire is a horseshoe-shaped belt around the Pacific Ocean where volcanoes and earthquakes are common. And it's not surprising that this region has seen an uptick in activity over the past year. The Hunga Tonga Songofai eruption was one of the biggest events in recent history. And while it may seem unusual for a volcano to erupt more than once in the same place, it's actually pretty common, especially in places like the Ring of Fire where tectonic plates converge and diverge. That means some places are more likely to see repeat offenders than others. Scientists just can't predict when or how they'll erupt next. And if we knew exactly what was going to happen, we probably wouldn't live here. Volcanoes don't usually blow their tops all of a sudden without giving us hints first. They let off steam with smaller eruptions or release gases called volcanic tremors, which sound like a heartbeat. We have ways of listening in, like through local seismic networks that monitor these rumblings. In fact, scientists use tools like seismic records and ground deformation data to keep tabs on potentially active volcanoes. Some even make daily updates to track changes in gas emissions, ground temperature, or even the color of the crater lake. But it takes time to gather all this data, then check it against historical records, and then translate all that into something that tells us how likely it is that a volcano will blow. By the time scientists give the all clear, people living nearby might not have enough time to get out of the danger zone. So researchers are always looking for faster ways to gauge a volcano's readiness to rumble. That's why they're turning to Unacademy's AI system to help them spot signs of unrest at the Hunga Tonga volcano. In other words, given everything we know about volcanoes and how they work, how can artificial intelligence tell us if another one is about to go off? Let's dive in. Unacademy is a system that gathers data from all sorts of sources, including satellites and social media posts, and it uses natural language processing to comb through all that information and look for patterns that hint at unrest at a volcano. Like people who post about volcanic activity on Twitter or TikTok might notice things before scientists do. For example, users posted about increased sulfur dioxide levels after unseasonable rain in the Philippines. And in Iceland, videos on social media showed increased temperatures near the Grindavik crater. These kinds of posts are great because they come from people who live near the volcanoes and might be able to spot subtle changes in their day-to-day lives. But finding these insights in a sea of posts can take a long time, and that's where Unacademy comes in. It sifts through all the noise so scientists don't have to. The AI scans text and images, looks for keywords and phrases and cross-references them with all the other information that's available. Then it flags the ones that suggest volcanic activity might be picking up. That could mean more seismic activity, more gas emissions, hotter surface temperatures, or changes in the color of the water. This way, scientists can focus on the most promising leads instead of wasting time on false alarms. And the system keeps track of every lead, so researchers can watch the big picture as well. While Unacademy is being tested on the Hunga Tonga volcano, the hope is that it will one day be used all over the Ring of Fire and beyond. It could even work for earthquakes, since they also happen along tectonic plate boundaries. The idea is to give scientists more eyes to watch the volcanoes so they don't miss anything, and when they catch a small eruption early, they can warn people living nearby to head for higher ground. Because AI can sift through data quickly, it might be able to spot early warning signs that would otherwise go unnoticed for days, weeks, or even months. That could buy people some much-needed time during an emergency. Meanwhile, new research suggests that the Hunga Tonga eruption didn't just send ash and smoke into the sky. It also sent shockwaves rippling across the Pacific. The blast was so big that it affected ocean tides as far away as Alaska, according to scientists from the University of Alaska Southeast. They were studying the effects of tsunamis when they noticed that regular tides weren't matching up with their computer models. When they looked into it further, they found that the Hunga Tonga eruption was to blame. That's because the blast not only displaced a lot of water, it also generated a series of waves that spread out in all directions. Now, these waves didn't cause major flooding in most places, but they did affect the timing of high and low tides, and that had real consequences for people who rely on the coast for food or transportation. For example, intertidal species like clams and mussels need to stay moist to survive. So if the tides change unexpectedly, it can wipe out an entire ecosystem in a matter of hours. And since the Hunga Tonga eruption, people in Alaska have been catching fewer Dungeness crabs. That's a popular and lucrative fishery that brings in millions of dollars each year. So it shows that even a volcano on the other side of the world can have far-reaching consequences. Plus, scientists say that the waves caused by the eruption may have triggered underwater landslides in Alaska. Those landslides could block important pathways for deep-sea creatures or alter the habitats that they depend on. The Hunga Tonga eruption was a wake-up call reminding scientists that it doesn't take much to disrupt delicate ecosystems. In fact, researchers estimate that more than half of marine life lives in the ocean's so-called twilight zone, a place where light barely reaches. These creatures are super vulnerable to changes in their environment, and we're still learning how they adapt and recover from big disruptions. All this goes to show that no matter where you live, it's always a good idea to pay attention to what's happening elsewhere in the world. You never know when something halfway around the globe might affect your life, but not everyone gets excited when they hear about tectonic plates. So if you're looking for something to get your mind churning, Brilliant has a course for you. Brilliant is an online learning platform with thousands of lessons in science, computer science, and math, and their courses can teach you all sorts of things you never learned in school, like how GPS technology works. It's a fast and fun way to learn, because Brilliant breaks big topics into small, bite-sized chunks. That way, you don't get overwhelmed, and you can fit learning into a busy schedule. So if you want to understand the world a little bit better, Brilliant has you covered. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about how volcanoes work, check out this video. As always, it's been me. Don't forget to keep on thinking. On.